In 48 hours, all eyes will be on London's Westminster Abbey for the much-anticipated royal wedding. The ceremony comes 3 decades after Lady Diana Spencer married Prince Charles, heir to the British throne. As Europe correspondent Philip Williams reports, times have changed and the House of Windsor has been forced to keep up with a new British society.
You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off you.
It'll be a glorious fiesta of romance, and every blink will be in public. But I also hope very much that they manage to keep themselves a true private life.
At long last, love has arrived.
We've been talking about marriage for a while, so it wasn't a massively big surprise, but I took her up somewhere nice in Kenya and proposed.
It's very romantic. There's a true romantic in that.
There is.
You said yes, obviously.
Of course, yes, yeah.
You're just too good to be true.
From that moment, with that ring, a once-in-a-generation royal wedding was on. Pomp and ceremony, the order for the big day.
For all the hundreds of years of tradition these ceremonies will offer, there have been enormous changes since the last major royal wedding just 30 years ago. Not just for the nation, but also for the royal family.
There's no escaping the comparisons with the last major royal wedding, a fairy tale beginning.
Well, it was extraordinarily romantic and a very exciting moment, and everybody had very much the feeling, and I think it was absolutely right, that here was this extraordinary young girl sort of going to modernise the monarchy. Now,
Winston Churchill's granddaughter Emma Soames was a guest that day, a different era and a very different prince.
I think Prince William probably feels incredibly protective towards Catherine, which is something, if his father felt towards Diana, he wasn't very good at showing it.
Do you think that Prince William has his mother's emotional intelligence, something perhaps his father rather lacked?
Definitely. Thank heavens. I don't think any of us will forget that moment when, at his engagement interview, Prince Charles said, you know, they said, "Are you in love?" And he said...
Whatever in love means.
I mean, you know, it was a sort of jaw-dropping moment. But you don't... I think he's much more empathetic, Prince William, and I think they want to build a sort of real relationship. And that they've probably sat down and had a jolly good, clear-eyed look of what this move means, much more so than, you know, Prince Charles and Diana. You know, he obviously just thought it was time he got married.
And while both brides have attracted attention worldwide, there are some striking differences. Lady Di, the shy 19-year-old, limited education and a novice in things romantic, dating her prince for less than a year before the big day. Catherine Middleton, 29 years old, university degree, living with her boyfriend for years. 3 decades ago, that would have been a royal scandal.
Well, it came as a big relief. I think it's so sordid, that, and so old-fashioned and unnecessary, you know, picking through the sort of underwear drawer of the past. And also, Prince Charles was at a time when it was practically impossible, unless you married somebody like Lady Diana, who was so young, she couldn't possibly have a past.
And while the wedding is all about the future, Prince William cannot escape a tragic past. He blamed his mother's death on the media that would not leave her alone, and is determined this time it will be different.
I'm trying to learn from lessons done in the past, and I just wanted to give her the best chance to settle in and see what happens the other side.
But while the blinding flashes do tell a story of unrelenting interest, it's not quite the blood sport it used to be. The media events are more controlled, at a time and place of the couple's choosing. Privacy campaigner Max Mosley says the days of a feral free-for-all are thankfully over.
The newspapers now, particularly the tabloids, know that everyone's looking at them. In the old days, when the odd politician might say something and they could victimise him, are gone. And I think that it's just the climate has changed and the wind's blowing against them now.
This is just the start of a very long journey with, it's hoped, bumps along the way.
I think we'll take it one step at a time. We'll sort of get over the marriage thing first and then maybe look at the kids.
But every pregnancy, especially the first, will raise a gender issue that Australia may help solve.
The race is really on. We probably have 9 months from next Friday.
British MP Keith Vaz is introducing a private members' bill next month that would change the law that denies a firstborn daughter the throne if she has a brother. But even if it's passed in the UK, it must also clear the 15 Commonwealth parliaments that have the Queen as head of state, including Australia.
And of all the countries in the world that we would think is a country that supports equality and the basis of equality, it must be Australia. After all, you have a woman Prime Minister. Imagine if someone said, sorry, we can't have a woman Prime Minister. The only Prime Ministers you can have in Australia are men.
Keith Vaz says he'll try and press the case during Julia Gillard's wedding visit. The issue of royal religious discrimination also on his agenda.
The children of Prince William and Kate Middleton may fall in love with a Muslim or a Hindu or somebody from a different faith. Why can't they marry who they want? And why can't we let them succeed to the throne?
But along the wedding route, gender and religious politics are not dominating discussions. For this is an old-fashioned royal romance, pure and simple. Prince meets beautiful girl, the dress, the carriage, the kiss. And the hope this time they will live happily ever after.
Philip Williams in London, and that's it for tonight.